African, the Islamic traditions emphasize how white his skin was. Sahih Bukhari 1, number 367. He uncovered his thigh and I saw the whiteness of the thigh of the Prophet. Sunan Abu Dawud, volume 20, number 3200. I still seem to see the whiteness of the forearms of the Apostle of Allah. Sahih Bukhari, volume.
Oh yes, and there were older videos exposing the NOI as being the boule, but it's now removed from YouTube. I was searching everywhere for these videos, but they do a good job of hiding the fact that the NOI is boule, and they do worship light skin. They worship light skin and straight hair, but they make it seem like, oh yeah, Islam or NOI or all that, this religion is made for black people. They're doing that with Christianity too now. They're changing the color of the characters to keep black people on these religions. To these religions strip you of your actual powers. We're all supposed to be light workers, doing, herbal, holistic healing and magic in a sense. But everybody's so afraid of the word magic. Y'all all think all magic is evil. All magic is not evil. That shit they do over there in Africa, the blood magic and sacrificing animals and sacrificing babies, yes, that shit's evil. But healing your body with herbs is not evil, okay? These religions demonize all magic to strip the people who are supposed to be, the light workers or, the Christ beings, okay? Because I honestly don't believe Christ was just one person. I believe Christ is like a race of people. And, these people have special abilities, psychic abilities, telekinesis, all that. They poisoned these people, like these races that exist in America, so we wouldn't have our powers, be able to tap into our special abilities, or, connect to God's source, which that lives within our soul. Okay, God lives within the souls of humans, who are, beings of light, or, real humans, organic humans. There are fake humans that don't have souls. And like I said, they stay on these religions, okay? They stay stuck on these religions, the ones that don't have a light inside of them. All right? And yeah, these NOI people, they are all Agent Smiths. They look like Agent Smiths. They wear their clothes, they wear those suits like Agent Smiths. They slick their hair like Agent Smiths in the movie Matrix. If you watch the movie Matrix, their mannerisms, how they talk, how they look like Agent Smiths. That's what the NOI is. They're all Agent Smiths. Keep you mentally enslaved. Keep you on those religions, on that religion, to keep you mentally enslaved. Okay? And on an autopilot.
Hadith number 122. And a white person, Muhammad, who is requested to pray for rain. Muhammad was not a white Caucasian, but an Arab man with a relatively fair complexion than most Arabs around him. The repeated statements regarding the whiteness of the Prophet Muhammad's skin are directly related to the meaning of the colors of black and white in Islam. Quran, Surah Ali Imran, verse 106. The day when faces are whitened, and faces blackened. Then, as for the ones whose faces are blackened, did you disbelieve after your belief? Then taste the torment for that you disbelieved. Quran, Surah Az-Zumar, verse 60. And on the day of resurrection thou, Muhammad, sees those who lied concerning Allah with their faces blackened. Is not the home of the scorners in hell? According to these verses, people whose faces are whitened will go to heaven, while the ones that were blackened will go to hell.
Why? See, this is why I laugh at, Christians, Black Americans who were raised as Christians and they convert to Islam. I laugh because the Quran says this. And then they talked about me and say that, oh, sister, you just don't know the Quran. You just don't know what, I look, I went deep into this, like in my early on in my spiritual journey. I went into all of these religions. Like, after I removed myself as a Hebrew Israelite, because that's where I started. I started as a Hebrew Israelite. That was like my first step. Okay. And no, I consider Hebrew Israelites as Christians a Christian extremist. Okay. And if they don't believe in the New Testament, then they're crypto Jays, or I know y'all want to believe that old black people are the real Jews, but nobody is that. Okay, I don't believe in chosen people. Okay, I don't believe there's a such thing as that. Okay, I just believe, yeah, there are humans, real humans actually have psychic or special abilities, and these demons, these dark workers, have pretty much destroyed our abilities here, as light workers. We're children of the sun. Okay, we emerged, or were created here in America, different skin tones, different skin colors, like uh so-called ethnicities. We had similar so-called bone structure, phenotype, but these different tribes had different skin colors, different areas, like, but we all shared this continent. Okay, and when these invaders came, they separated us by color, put us under color codes, okay, and classified us with these races, okay. I mean, some of y'all will deny this or whatever, but yeah, I believe there always was a variety, different types of humans here on this plane of existence since the beginning. But in recent time, there was like a lot of genetic gene editing happened, okay, and I believe animal was put into the human genome just so humans would be easier to control, in a sense. So yeah, there are some humans that do have animal in them, and that's my explanation for why evolution is accepted. Honestly, if these people didn't have animal in them, I don't think they would be sitting there letting these people call them primates, if they didn't have some type of that in them. Honestly, I know I'm not a primate, so that's why I push back against that hard. Like, I don't come from that. But if you believe you come from that, cool beans. I believe the original humans actually come from spontaneous generation. We emerged from the soil like all other natural organic organisms that come from this, or that exist on this plane. Well, there's, like I said, there are beings that were created unnaturally too that exist here, and there's animals like that too, like the pig and the dog. Okay, um, those are spliced animals. Um, Pig, dog, the cats. It's a long list of animals that are hybrid animals that were created by unnatural means. But yeah, but I believe the humans that are actually ancient organic humans, we emerge from the soil or spontaneous generation. We didn't evolve from other life forms, or whatever. Now, the people who believe in evolution, I believe their origins, they come from gene splicing or cloning centers underground. I mean, that new series, what is it? What is the Fallouts? They even bring up cloning and how the elites come from underground cloning centers and stuff like that, and this been going on for centuries, hundreds, thousands of years, honestly. So, yeah, these elites, they probably do come from underground bases, cloning centers, whatever, have animal DNA mixed in with human DNA. That's why their they've got weird faces and their eyes are so spaced out. They have like, it's just, yeah. Okay. And it's not just with the black actresses and actors and entertainers. It's the white ones too. You can notice the inversion, and the women's their faces just don't be symmetrical. They have their eyes be all the way over here. Okay. And y'all think I'm just making fun of just bullying the Haley, was it the Little Mermaid person? Like, no, you'll notice that with a lot of these celebrities, okay, have that issue. And they, like, the females have a male skull. Like, their eyes are way too spaced out, and they have a brow bone, and they have square face, like the jaw. Like, for example, Krishan Rock got a full, just square face, wide, square face. Okay, it's a lot of them that are like that. Okay, I believe they don't come from natural. They don't come from a natural source. Okay, that's all I'm saying. The people that are chosen to rule over us, and to people who are chosen to influence us. Okay, they're all inverted. Like, even the small, you people think the influencers on TikTok are just, they become viral randomly. No, like, the algorithm is rigged, okay? And a lot of these people who go viral on TikTok, it's not a coincidence. It's not because their videos are great. A lot of them actually do be agents, okay? And they're propped up. Like, they don't go viral by chance, okay? A lot of these people go viral for stupid shit. And that should show you, like, that should be a red flag for a lot of y'all. But, man, I'm sorry. I just went off. But, yeah. Let's go back over what the Quran says about white skin and black skin, and how black faces will not get into heaven, but the white faces will make it into heaven. And with that being in the Quran, I don't understand how they're able to convert so many Africans still to this day, or black Americans, with the Quran saying that black skin or black faced people will not enter heaven. Yeah.
And taste the torment for that you disbelieved. Quran, Surah Az-Zumar, verse 60. And on the day of resurrection thou, Muhammad, sees those who lied concerning Allah with their faces blackened. Is not the home of the scorners in hell? According to these verses, people whose faces are whitened will go to heaven, while the ones that were blackened will go to hell. If Allah decides some black men go to heaven, then their black faces would be whitened, as if there is something wrong with having black skin. Allah wants to be sure that no black face ever show up in heaven.
Oh, it's not like that, bro. Those verses are metaphorical without any racist connotations.
However, there are some hadiths that link black skin and creation with Judgment Day. Mishkat al-Masabi, Volume 1, Chapter 4, Part 2, page 36. Abu Darda. The Prophet of God said, God created Adam and struck him on the right shoulder, and brought out his white children. You would say they were pearls. Then he struck his left shoulder, and produced his black children. You would say they were coals. And God said, those of the right side are towards paradise, and I have no fear. And he said of those of the left side, they are towards hell, and I fear not. What does it mean when Allah said I fear not? This is what he means. The expression here twice repeated, in the original La Abali, implies, I have no fear that their future deeds will falsify the sentence which I have now pronounced, seeing I have already predestined all their action. Abdul Haq. So, according to this hadith, Allah already decided all black people he created would go to hell no matter what they did, since he already predestined their fates. This hadith explains very clearly that in Islam, Allah made the destiny of human beings before he created them. He already decided to bless the extremely white-skinned people to heaven and to curse the extremely black-skinned people to hell. It's clear that Allah judges them based on the color of their skin and that for Allah, white is pure, holy, clean, while black is the opposite of it. In fact, other narrations even command that any person claiming that Muhammad was black be put to death. Muhammad Messenger of Allah. Ash-Shifa of Qadi-e-Ad, page 375. Ahmad ibn Abi Sulayman, the companion of Sanan, said, anyone who says that the Prophet was black should be killed. The Nation of Islam teaches that white people are devils. Their members might want to ponder this statement by Muhammad. The Apostle said,
Whoever wants to see Satan, let him take a look at Nabtul bin al-Harith.
He was a sturdy black man with long flowing hair, inflamed eyes, and dark ruddy cheeks. He used to come and talk to the apostle and listen to him and then carry what he had said to the hypocrites.
But you have to see the whole context. Nabtal is a hypocrite. That's why the prophet called him Satan.
There were many hypocrites surrounded the prophet, but he only called Nabtal, who was black, as Satan. How about calling a black woman as an epidemic? Sahih Bukhari, Volume 9, Book 87, Hadith 161.
I saw in a dream a black woman with unkempt hair going out of Medina and settling at Mahaya, namely Al-Jaffa. I interpreted that as a symbol of epidemic of Medina being transferred to that place, Al-Jaffa.
Ah, come on. That was just a bad dream. No big deal, okay?
Sahih Muslim, Book 10.
Look, man, they're telling you all these prophets were black to keep your dumb asses stuck on their religions so you can still be their slaves, mentally and physically, okay? And to keep you on autopilot. Like, to keep you at playing this role as, you know, Black American or whatever. You know, that is our role. That is our script they have given us, okay? And as a Black American, you have to be, you know, religious, a Christian, or now they want most of us to convert to Islam. I don't know why they're doing that. But I'm telling y'all to throw away your scripts, okay? We're not Black American. Black is not a nationality or race. Black is your color code. Is a code used for legal purposes. Black is not a race. Black is not a nationality. It's your color code. Throw it away. Okay? Now, yes, we come from, well, a lot of y'all probably don't even come from this land. Like, I know some of y'all, a lot of y'all are immigrants. Like, they just opened the floodgates of, you know, Black immigrants in the 60s. So, some of y'all probably are African. But there's a lot of us that aren't, okay? This is my land, okay? So, I love this land. So, I don't really, you might as well, I guess you can call me American, but whatever this land was called before these people took over, I am that, okay? I am, yeah. This is where I'm from. Like, my folks been here for thousands of years, and I have census records that go all the way back to the 1700s, since the time they started taking the census. Like, my folks had land here. Like, we were landlords, okay? Or what y'all would consider slave masters, okay? So, there were Black slave masters here in the South, okay? And we were fighting for our land. Civil War, all that. They they rewritten the history of what happened during the Civil War, and I will get into that in another live stream about what really happened during the Civil War. And was there really a war? Because there are people questioning what this war was about, what they were fighting, and if they were really fighting people. Okay? But that's a whole nother live stream. We're on Islam right now, and it's idiotic that these Negroes still hold on to these religions but want to call themselves woke, aware, unplugged. You're not unplugged from what? Y'all are not unplugged from shit. You're still a character on their world stage, on autopilot. Your soul is very much disconnected from source. You don't even know what source is. Y'all would probably deny source because y'all hate women. So, yeah.
Number 3901. During the time of migration to Medina.
Ya Rasulullah, I want to pledge allegiance with you.
Oh, sure, I'd be more than happy to accept your pledge.
Thank you, Rasulullah, I will migrate with you.
That guy is my slave. I want to have him back, or you can buy him from me.
I didn't know that he is a slave. Okay, I will buy your slave with mine. Here, take my slave.
Huh? He is a black slave, while mine is an Arab slave.
Oh, all right then. Here, have another one. I lost my property because of that guy. That was several thousand dinars gone.
Rasulullah, there is another guy want to pledge allegiance with you.
Is he a slave or a free man? I don't want to lose more property.
Apparently, at that time, the price of one Arab slave is equal with 2 black slaves. Prophet Muhammad saw his black slaves as his currency. Here is another hadith about Prophet Muhammad's black slave. Malik's Muwatta, Book 21, number 21.13.25. During the year of the attack of Khaybar, Prophet Muhammad got a new black slave named Medam. When Medam was unsaddling the camel of the Prophet, a stray arrow struck and killed him. People came and said, "Oh, he died as a martyr. He must be in heaven now." But the Prophet said,
"No, by he in whose hand myself is. The cloak which he took from the spoils on the day of Khaybar before they were distributed will blaze with fire on him."
Just to clarify, Muhammad had sex with a 9-year-old girl, robbed caravans, and beheaded hundreds of Jews, but he's good. His black slave, by contrast, grabbed a cloak before the spoils were divided, so he's headed to hell. Welcome to Islam. Mindlessly obeying Muslim leaders was so important to Muhammad that when he wanted to emphasize obedience, he told his followers that they had to obey even the worst leader imaginable. We find Muhammad's worst-case scenario in Sahih al-Bukhari 7142.
You should listen to and obey your ruler, even if he was an Ethiopian black slave whose head looks like a raisin.
So, the worst possible leader of a community of Muslims, according to Muhammad, would be a black slave.
Look, you're not being honest and fair here. One of the best Sahaba was Bilal, and he was a black guy, who was freed by Abu Bakr. We uphold and love Bilal because of his dedication to Islam.
Bilal was a slave before he converted to Islam and continued to be a slave after that. Sahih Bukhari, Volume 5, Book 87, Hadith 99. Narrated Qais, Bilal said to Abu Bakr,
"If you have bought me for yourself, then keep me for yourself, but if you have bought me for Allah's sake, then leave me for Allah's work."
The hadith explains that, after Prophet Muhammad died, Bilal asked Abu Bakr to set him free. He wouldn't ask Abu Bakr such a request if he was not a slave anymore.
Bilal is a good slave, and a great blessing from Allah. I don't think Allah wants me to lose his blessing.
Which one is the prophet? This white guy. What does Satan look like? That black guy. Now how did a religion that was inaugurated by a white prophet who had black slaves and referred to Ethiopians as raisin heads, and said that Satan looks like a black man ever get the reputation it has among African American Muslims today? Well, in the West, there's a general atmosphere of ignorance about Islam. People don't know even the most basic facts about Muhammad and the Quran. And this allows Muslim preachers to say whatever they want about Islam, because no one's going to correct them. So if a Muslim preacher is talking to a woman who's interested in women's rights,
Muhammad was a champion of women's rights.
If he's talking to someone who has a high regard for science,
the Quran is a scientific masterpiece, filled with miraculous scientific insights that were only verified centuries later.
If he's talking to someone who's concerned about racial justice,
Islam is the religion that liberates slaves and establishes racial equality.
Absolute nonsense. But people convert to Islam because they believe what they're told and don't bother reading the Muslim sources to see if the preacher's story checks out.
And that's what I've been saying. But people think that I don't know what I'm talking about. Oh, because I choose to portray myself, in a certain way online. I'm not like just walking around with my hair unkept, just I did all that during my early phases, my early on in my spiritual awakening. I went through my ugly phase with pride. I did my big chop. I was walking around with literally 2 inches of hair and did not care. And, I made that work, but now my afro is about 8 to 9 inches long, maybe, compressed. It's bigger. It's a medium-sized fro. I mean, it's not super long, but it's bigger than what it was where I started. Okay, I did my big chop in 2016, 2017. And when I did all that, I did a deep dive into religion. I was a Hebrew Israelite first, and when I got out of that, when I learned that, they lied to me. Like when I learned about who the God of the Bible was, like, yeah, I looked into the Quran too, and I figured out, it was all these religions were created by the same people. It came from one source, our slave masters. Okay? I figured that out. At 17 years old, and we have 40, 50-year-old men holding on to this bullshit. And then shaming me, shaming women, trying to keep us enslaved, mentally enslaved. And in this patriarchal system ran off of currency. And then get mad at us for telling them to provide for us in this system that they uphold. Oh no, they don't want to provide for us. They want us to slave just as hard as them, or they'll threaten and say, "Oh, we'll go and we'll get a passport." Like them women overseas are not going to want you to provide for them. But that's the thing. These dudes are retarded, okay? And that's what I'm pointing out. These guys have mental issues. A lot of mental issues in the freaking conscious community. Okay, it's like that mental illness is running rampant in the freaking so-called conscious community. It's like, I think those are mainly the leaders of the conscious community, like mentally ill motherfuckers. Because nobody's being told any truth. Okay? You got 19 Keys that is promoting the NOI. Because he was raised in the freaking NOI. And then got a lot of his money from scamming. And then convincing you people to get into Bitcoin. What is it? And that is the digital currency that they want us all to convert to. This is was the New World Order system. They are actually prepping you guys for the New World Order system. They are, it is crazy. Instead of warning Black Americans about the New World Order, sustainable development and all that, they're pretty much, they got Black Americans as the spokesperson for this system. That's pretty much what they are. They're like, y'all are so eager to, y'all are ready for digital currency, it seems like. Y'all, I think digital currency is the most idiotic thing ever. Like, to want to not be, like, to want your money to just all be on a digital platform. You can't touch it. You'll never be able to touch it. Anybody could hack into your account and and swipe your money. Or the government, like, if you say something wrong, they can lock your account. Like, they'll have more control over what you own and how much you get. Like, there is no hiding money from the government if it's all digital. Like, what is wrong with you people? Like, y'all act like y'all have y'all act like your IQ levels are in the single digits. Okay? And then y'all be like, oh, where is your certificate, qualifications? Where's your where you can't talk to me like this. You don't have a degree. But y'all allow Candace Owens to talk to y'all like that. She don't have a degree. Y'all think Candace Owens is intelligent? The fuck? And the bitch is a Christian. Kiss my ass. Okay? I'm very qualified to talk to all of y'all like this if Candace Owens is qualified to talk to people like this. Y'all ain't shit. Oh, Candace don't cuss us out. Fuck. I don't give a fuck. That bitch is a shill. Fucking shill, just like Alex Jones. Bill Cooper exposed Alex Jones back in 2001. Okay, the government put out their conspiracy people too. Okay, they want you to follow certain people, okay, to influence you. They don't want us real light workers in the working class to influence anybody. They only want their government agents to tell you what's going on. Now, atrazine, for example, it was a black man. What's his name? Jerome Haynes or Tyrone Haynes or something like that. Let me see. Let me look it up. I'm sorry. Yeah, he did have a very black. Okay, so the whistleblower for the atrazine being in the water and it inverting, turning male frogs into hermaphrodites or female frogs or whatever. It was a black man. I'm trying to make sure I say his name right. I don't want to say somebody else's name. Hold on. But he was a professor at the University of Berkeley, California, something like that. Yeah, that. Is it Tyrone Haynes? It probably is Tyrone Haynes. I don't know. Hold on. One sec. It's not coming up. Yes, his name was Tyrone Haynes. Okay, it was and now it's just an Alex Jones conspiracy. You see? Like, this is a reality. It's not a conspiracy. This stuff is in our drinking water. Atrazine is in our drinking water, inverting us. Turning us into inverts. Okay? This inversion stuff only affected the elites and their bloodline, their race, okay? Their women always were hermaphrodites, okay? That's all they could produce from these Zionist bloodlines, okay? But since they added this chemical in the water, they're inverting all of us. But nobody want to hear me. Nobody want to hear that come from, like, I don't know. I don't want to hear it from me, at least. You want to hear it from a big influencer. Hold on, let me stop. I got some videos saved in my watch later. Let me see. The truth about religion.
Because I gotta tell you the truth, folks. I gotta tell you the truth. When it comes to bullshit, big time, major league bullshit, you have to stand in awe of the all-time champion of false promises and exaggerated claims, religion. Think about it. Religion has actually convinced people that there's an invisible man living in the sky who watches everything you do every minute of every day. And the invisible man has a special list of 10 things he does not want you to do. And if you do any of these 10 things, he has a special place full of fire and smoke and burning and torture and anguish where he will send you to live and suffer and burn and choke and scream and cry forever and ever till the end of time. But he loves you. He loves you and he needs money. He always needs money. He's all powerful, all perfect, all knowing, and all wise. Somehow just can't handle money. Religion takes in billions of dollars, they pay no taxes, and they always need a little more. Now, you talk about a good bullshit story. Holy shit.
This is the sun. As far back as 10,000 BC, history is abundant with carvings and writings reflecting people's respect and adoration for this object. And it is simple to understand why, as every morning the sun would rise, bringing vision, warmth, and security, saving man from the cold, blind, predator-filled darkness of night. Without it, the cultures understood, the crops would not grow, and life on the planet would not survive. These realities made the sun the most adored object of all time. Likewise, they were also very aware of the stars. The tracking of the stars allowed them to recognize and anticipate events which occurred over long periods of time, such as eclipses and full moons. They in turn cataloged celestial groups into what we know today as constellations. This is the cross of the zodiac, one of the oldest conceptual images in human history. It reflects the sun as it figuratively passes through the 12 major constellations over the course of a year. It also reflects the 12 months of the year, the 4 seasons, and the solstices and equinoxes. The term zodiac relates to the fact that constellations were anthropomorphized, or personified as figures or animals. In other words, the early civilizations did not just follow the sun and stars, they personified them with elaborate myths involving their movements and relationships. The sun, with its life-giving and saving qualities, was personified as a representative of the unseen creator or God, God's Son, the light of the world, the savior of humankind. Likewise, the 12 constellations represented places of travel for God's Son, and were identified by names usually representing elements of nature that happened during that period of time. For example, Aquarius, the water bearer, who brings the spring rains. This is Horus. He is the sun god of Egypt of around 3000 BC. He is the sun anthropomorphized, and his life is a series of allegorical myths involving the sun's movement in the sky. From the ancient hieroglyphics in Egypt, we know much about this solar messiah. For instance, Horus, being the sun or the light, had an enemy known as Set, and Set was the personification of the darkness or night. And, metaphorically speaking, every morning Horus would win the battle against Set, while in the evening Set would conquer Horus and send him into the underworld. It is important to note that dark versus light, or good versus evil, is one of the most ubiquitous mythological dualities ever known, and is still expressed on many levels to this day. Broadly speaking, the story of Horus is as follows. Horus was born on December 25th of the Virgin Isis Mary. His birth was accompanied by a star in the east, and upon his birth he was adored by 3 kings. At the age of 12, he was a prodigal child teacher, and at the age of...
Whoa, that sounds like the story of Jesus. Oh my. This is why I tell everybody, look deeper into the origins of these religions. If you call yourself a free thinker, why aren't you questioning religion? Huh? Okay.
30, he was baptized by a figure known as Anup, and thus began his ministry. Horus had 12 disciples he traveled about with, performing miracles such as healing the sick and walking on water. Horus was known by many gestural names such as the Truth, the Light, God's Anointed Son, the Good Shepherd, the Lamb of God, and many others. After being betrayed by Typhon, Horus was crucified, buried for 3 days, and thus resurrected. These attributes of Horus, whether original or not, seem to permeate many cultures of the world, for many other gods are found to have the same general mythological structure. Attis of Phrygia, born of the Virgin Nana on December 25th, crucified, placed in a tomb, and after 3 days was resurrected. Krishna of India, born of the Virgin Devaki, with a star in the east signaling his coming. He performed miracles with his disciples, and upon his death was resurrected.
This is going to show you there were multiple Christ beings, okay, that were worshipped throughout time, okay? Yeah. A lot of y'all are not aware of this because you don't research. I guess you don't have a divine light inside of you to go out and research like I did. Like, no man spoon-fed me this information. That's how you can tell the difference between a soulless female and a female that actually have a divine light and soul inside of her, because that's what pushed me to search for more, to look deeper into all of this, because I wanted to know my purpose. Why am I here? Okay, everybody who has a divine soul, actually look for this information and deeply search, like research, like I'm talking about. We are not afraid to go in down that rabbit hole, okay? We're not afraid to go down that damn rabbit hole to discover the mysteries, okay? That's the difference. Like, you have these soulless motherfuckers you gotta constantly spoon feed. I understand, like, a lot of y'all are still under spells too. I could be talking to people who have souls here right now. Y'all, I'm trying to help some of y'all break the spells, okay? But like, during my whole my whole journey, I did discover that the world is full of fucking soulless motherfuckers, space fillers. Okay, there's a lot of space fillers out here, and they're used to pretty much keep this reality in a low state. Okay, a lot of these space fillers are seeded out here to keep the confusion. Like, I believe this whole system was set up in a way so it will prevent us from actually creating this heaven on earth reality where we have free energy technology. Okay, like, they really got this thing locked in, like this parasitic system. Okay, like, and then they have these clone drone soulless beings out here, you know, that like proud slaves. Okay, they can't understand. Like, I make it so simple. God lives within your soul, in your conscience, in your soul. Like, simple as that. God lives within you. They don't even understand that, these soulless ones. Okay, because simple, they don't have a soul, they don't have a divine light, they don't understand it. They gotta worship something outside of them to feel sane. It's yeah, that's it. That's what it is, and that's how you can clearly see these clones. Like, and they really have no real purpose here, just to keep up their Agent Smiths. Okay, like, their purpose, I guess, is to keep us enslaved, mentally, physically, or whatever. Shame you, say you're crazy for thinking like this, you're thinking outside of the box. Okay, Candace Owens is Candace Owens is where we're supposed to all be mentally. That is the approved consciousness. That is the approved conspiracy person. Okay, if you're not thinking like Candace, then you're crazy. That's the narrative that's finna be pushed. Okay, because they're considering Candace Owens as a conspiracy person. Candace Owens has never said a conspiracy a day in their life. And pointing out that the French president's wife is a man is not a conspiracy. It's just y'all are retarded and don't know biology, human anatomy. I'm over here breaking down the fact that there's hermaphrodites out here, and Candace Owens is a fucking hermaphrodite. Clear as day. And I exposed that motherfucker and exposed so many other celebrities for being genetic hermaphrodites. Because, oh, man, hold on. Let me just, I'm sorry. I'm going off. Let's continue exposing religion, and then I'll get back on that, okay? But it's a whole bunch of inverts out here, man. And y'all call us crazy. Like, yeah, I'm gonna get back on this after this video. Let me let this video play out so y'all can understand the origins of religion, Christianity, Islam, Judaism. And we're gonna talk more about the inverted celebrities and just all that later.
Dionysius of Greece, born of a virgin on December 25th, was a traveling teacher who performed miracles such as turning water into wine. He was referred to as the King of Kings, God's only begotten Son, the Alpha and Omega, and many others. And, upon his death, he was resurrected. Mithra of Persia, born of a virgin on December 25th, he had 12 disciples and performed miracles, and upon his death was buried for 3 days and thus resurrected. He was also referred to as the Truth, the Light, and many others. Interestingly, the sacred day of worship of Mithra was Sunday. The fact of the matter is, there are numerous saviors from different periods from all over the world which subscribe to these general characteristics. The question remains, why these attributes? Why the virgin birth on December 25th? Why dead for 3 days in the inevitable resurrection? Why 12 disciples or followers? To find out, let's examine the most recent of the solar messiahs. Jesus Christ was born of the Virgin Mary on December 25th in Bethlehem. His birth was announced by a star in the east, which 3 kings or magi followed to locate and adorn the new Savior. He was a child teacher at 12, and at the age of 30 he was baptized by John the Baptist, and thus began his ministry. Jesus had 12 disciples, which he traveled about with, performing miracles such as healing the sick, walking on water, raising the dead. He was also known as the King of Kings, the Son of God, the Light of the World, the Alpha and Omega, the Lamb of God, and many, many others. After being betrayed by his disciple Judas and sold for 30 pieces of silver, he was crucified, placed in a tomb, and after 3 days was resurrected and ascended into heaven. First of all, the birth sequence is completely astrological. The star in the east is Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, which, on December 24th, aligns with the 3 brightest stars in Orion's belt. These 3 bright stars in Orion's belt are called today what they were called in ancient times, the 3 kings. And the 3 kings and the brightest star, Sirius, all point to the place of the sunrise on December 25th. This is why the 3 kings follow the star in the east, in order to locate the sunrise, the birth of the sun. The Virgin Mary is the constellation Virgo, also known as Virgo the Virgin. Virgo in Latin means virgin. Virgo is also referred to as the house of bread, and the representation of Virgo is a virgin holding a sheaf of wheat. This house of bread and its symbol of wheat represents August and September, the time of harvest. In turn, Bethlehem, in fact, literally translates to house of bread. Bethlehem is thus a reference to the constellation Virgo, a place in the sky, not on Earth. There's another very interesting phenomenon that occurs around December 25th, or the winter solstice. From the summer solstice to the winter solstice, the days become shorter and colder. And from the perspective of the northern hemisphere, the sun appears to move south and get smaller and more scarce. The shortening of the days and the expiration of the crops when approaching the winter solstice symbolize the process of death to the ancients. It was the death of the sun. And by December 22nd, the sun's demise was fully realized, for the sun, having moved south continually for 6 months, makes it to its lowest point in the sky. Here a curious thing occurs. The sun stops moving south, at least perceivably, for 3 days. And during this 3-day pause, the sun resides in the vicinity of the Southern Cross, or Crux, constellation. And after this time, on December 25th, the sun moves 1 degree, this time north, foreshadowing longer days, warmth, and spring. And thus it was said, the sun died on the other sun gods share the crucifixion, 3-day death, and resurrection concept. It is the sun's transition period before it shifts its direction back into the northern hemisphere, bringing spring and thus salvation. However, they did not celebrate the resurrection of the sun until the spring equinox, or Easter. This is because at the spring equinox, the sun officially overpowers the evil darkness, as daytime thereafter becomes longer in duration than the night, and the revitalizing conditions of spring emerge. Now, probably the most obvious of all the astrological symbolism around Jesus regards the 12 disciples. They are simply the 12 constellations of the zodiac, which Jesus, being the sun, travels about with. In fact, the number 12 is replete throughout the Bible. Coming back to the cross of the zodiac, the figurative life of the sun, this was not just an artistic expression or tool to track the sun's movement. It was also a pagan spiritual symbol, the shorthand of which looked like this. This is not a symbol of Christianity. It is a pagan adaptation of the cross of the zodiac. This is why Jesus in early occult art is always shown with his head on the cross, for Jesus is the Son of God, the light of the world, the risen Savior who will come again, as it does every morning, the glory of God who defends against the works of darkness, as he is born again every morning, and can be seen coming in the clouds, up in heaven, with his crown of thorns or sun rays. Now, of the many astronomical metaphors in the Bible, one of the most important has to do with the ages. Throughout the scriptures, there are numerous references to the age. In order to understand this, we need to be familiar with a phenomenon known as the precession of the equinoxes. The ancient Egyptians, along with cultures long before them, recognized that approximately every 2150 years, the sunrise on the morning of the spring equinox would occur in a different sign of the zodiac. This has to do with a slow, angular wobble that the Earth maintains as it rotates on its axis. It is called a precession because the constellations go backwards rather than through the normal yearly cycle. The amount of time it takes for the...
Okay, this don't explain shit. The Earth is not spinning, okay? The stars are fixed. We see the same constellations we've been seeing for thousands of years. Every season in our areas, we see the damn same constellations. But if we were being pulled by the sun's gravitational force across the solar system and spinning around it at the same time and all that, we would be seeing different constellations, different stars. That would be the truth. But that is not what's happening, okay? We're not living on a spinning ball, okay? Earth is a living, sentient being, okay? We're living within its cell, okay? We have parasites, mind-controlling parasites controlling us, okay? And they are actually in human form also, these damn parasites that y'all believe are really humans, but they're not, okay? The fake whites and the fake blacks, okay, and the fake Asians, okay, they're all around, okay, they're inverted as fuck, and yeah, they're masquerading around, acting like they're humans, but they're not. They eat human flesh on the low, okay, you think those autopsies they force everyone to have when they die, you really think they're doing that because they care and they want your family to really know what happened to you? No, they're taking wherever the fuck they want to take out of you when you die, regardless if you put your organ donor or not. They're taking certain organs out of you and feeding it to the elite class of people who need these organs. Okay, they need your liver, your heart. They need those meats. They eat it. They drink the adrenochrome from your brain. They'll drain the liquids from your brain. That's why you see some of your loved ones with the cut right here and cut all the way down from here to here. Okay. I don't know if you're rich enough, you could write in your will that you don't want that. They might honor it depending on how you die. But if they suspect foul play, you're just gonna be shipped on to get stuff taken out of you. Okay? The whole system. Like, they'll never run out of organs. There is no shortage on organs. Like, bro, these are vultures. Okay? These parasites, they eat decaying flesh. Okay? They like eating decaying things. These parasites. Okay? It's in their nature. Okay? That's what they do. And we can't have heaven on earth with creatures that eat us. Do y'all understand that? But they got you under their spell, under these religions, where you will not want to get rid of them. You'll always want to coexist with the parasite. And love is the answer. You can't love parasites that want to eat you. You can't love them. You can't coexist with them. They don't want to coexist with you. They want to kill most of us. Okay? But most of us are going to be killed off by 2030. And then they're going to keep a small percent that have the food, our DNA. But the only ones that will be picked for their new system are the ones who are fully compliant, don't, who, when this new system, when they roll out this new system, there won't be no constitution or free speech. So these people for the new system, they won't care about having free speech, or, these people are going to be so sensitized, or not decent, so sensitive to the point where they don't want a gun, okay, to protect themselves. They'll truly believe their government protects them, stuff like that. They're gonna be rainbow people. They won't want, like, these people that they choose for their future system, will think that, oh, human procreation is nasty, will not want bodily fluids touching each other, no, like, for instance, 1984, that movie, those people, and, like, how they were acting, that's how they want, people of the future society to act. They don't want you to actually exchange bodily fluids. We'll be living with these VR headsets on our head. They're gonna always want you connected to that reality, the fake reality, and this reality. And the only way, you'll have, relations, is through the VR headset or through the chip, your brain chip, virtual, SEX. I'm on YouTube too, so you'll have virtual X, going on in your head in the virtual world. No real physical contact with anybody. Okay, to be able to have children, you'll have to request that from the government. Okay, and then you'll have to have a certain amount of money. They won't let people who are of the working class have any children. Okay, you have to be able to make over 100, maybe 200K or more to be able to take care of a child. And it's, they create the babies. The babies won't even probably have your DNA. You'll get your baby shipped and packaged, shipped to you, to your front doorstep type thing. And yeah, that's the future. Like, and then they already have, like, this concept of science babies in The Sims, like Sims 4. If any of y'all play Sims, they're like, this is the reality. They're doing this with celebrities. Celebrities are pumping out designer babies, or, the science babies, designer babies, created from gene editing. Okay, a lot of these babies do not come from the womb of a human woman. They come from incubators or probably the wombs of animals. They don't want women pushing out babies in the future. They don't want that. They're going to make women obsolete. That's what they're doing now. If y'all hate women, the ruling class, hermaphrodites, hate women. And I just don't understand how y'all don't understand this. And hermaphroditism has a spectrum. They have a male spectrum and a female spectrum. These elitists and their celebrity puppets are full-blown hermaphrodites. Okay? They hate real humans. They hate real women, XX females. The settled science in this system is built off, like, the science is designed to destroy our mitochondria. The natural mitochondria that comes from women, original women, like their pharmaceuticals, is designed to destroy us. And I broke this down in a video about how the medical industry or mainstream medicine is destroying women, or actually I think it's titled Western Medicine is Destroying Women. That's on my YouTube channel. I have like 3 parts. how antibiotics destroy your mitochondria, and actually, if you take too much if you take too much antibiotics, or if they overprescribe strong antibiotics, it can cause you to have mitochondria damage. Okay, now antibiotics has its uses. Yes, there are some infections that antibiotics actually can help, but that's the thing. Our medical industry have been over prescribing antibiotics, and there's women have issues with fungi too, but the thing is, they're not properly diagnosing women for, candida issues. They're pumping you with antibiotics, causing you to have these mitochondria issues, and your skin, destroying your skin. I think that's where rosacea and all that's come from. Like, you actually, and people, they don't tell you that you can get acne, bad acne, from being overprescribed antibiotics also. Like, antibiotics really do destroy your skin. Like, people got to look into that. Like, it really do. It destroys your muscle tissue. But everybody want to believe deep down inside that some of these medications are actually good for you, but no. Like, all these medications that they created, this is the Jews' science, okay? The stuff, all the shit that they created was designed to destroy us. Like it's like slow poison. There's slow poisoning. Like, y'all don't understand. They gave us this history saying that, oh, their medical industry extended, their lifespans or whatever, or our lifespans. But no, indigenous peoples lived hundreds of years before being their contact, being contacted by them or whatever. Our ancestors lived hundreds of years. They actually shortened our lifespans and extended theirs with this so-called medicine or whatever. It's not medicine though. That shit, none of their pharmaceuticals cure anything. And I broke this down. Lots of people have exposed this. Like, there are over 200,000 pharmaceuticals out here. 200,000. And they're all pretty much useless. Like, hold on, let me pull up this video I have here on my YouTube channel right now. It's really short and sweet. I'm sorry I'm getting sidetracked, but people just don't, when they hear me say that, they just don't want to hear it. But, like, y'all are willing to listen to Candace Owens, who don't have a degree, okay? Don't have a degree. Y'all call them intelligent. You might, like, I'm just as qualified as Candace Owens. Like, are you kidding me? To talk about these topics. If you're going to sit there and spend all your money on someone who just learned how to who just learned how to either properly do a silk press on themselves, and they're 5 years old. I'm 26. And that woman, man, whatever that thing is, just learned how to do makeup on themselves correctly and press their hair. Like, I can show you pictures of them 2 years ago. Like, y'all call that thing intelligent. Like, come on. Hold on. Here we are. Modern medicine is a modern scam. Modern medicine is a modern scam. Wait.
$250,000 drugs, pharmaceuticals, and PDR, the physician's desk reference, they have access to treat people in America.
I don't know if y'all can hear this. Let me see if I can turn it up more. The volume on this video is always low. Let me see if I can turn it up some kind of way. No, it's turned all the way up on all of my... Turn that up right there. Let's see if that's better. Now, let me see. Is it, y'all can see this full screen, right? Can y'all see that? Okay, it's full screen. Here we go. Well,
150,000 drugs, pharmaceuticals, and PDR, the physician's desk reference, they have access to treat people in America. There's new ones coming out all the time. They're always bragging about how many billions of dollars worth of research they spend every year to find new drugs. If you take out the 500 antibiotics, it still leaves 249,500 drugs. There's not a single one of those designed to cure anything. There's not a single drug in the PDR except maybe antibiotics cure strep throat. Other than that, there's not a single drug in the PDR that cures anything. All designed to milk your insurance policies. They're all designed to milk Medicare and Medicaid because there's no laws requiring pharmaceutical companies to manufacture drugs that cure, even though they could.
Yeah. They're not designing these drugs to cure you of anything. They're not designing these drugs to cure you. They're designing these drugs to kill you slowly
Drugs, pharmaceuticals,
and destroy your organs. All of these fucking so-called pharmaceuticals are designed to destroy your organs. Okay, your liver, kidney, your heart. It's all of these pharmaceuticals are destroyed. That's what they're designed to do. Okay, if you haven't woken up to that and you're not aware, woke, enlightened, unplugged, you're not any of those things. Okay, you're just a bot, drone, zombie, actor on the world stage. That's what the fuck you are. Okay?
50,000 drugs, pharmaceuticals, and PDR, the physician's desk reference, they have access to treat people in America. There's new ones coming out all the time. They're always bragging about how many billions of dollars worth of research they spend every year to find new drugs. If you take out the 500 antibiotics, it still leaves 249,500 drugs. There's not a single one of those designed to cure anything. There's not a single drug in the PDR except maybe antibiotics cure strep throat. Other than that, there's not a single drug in the PDR that cures anything. All designed.
All of these things were designed to destroy you mentally. Like, y'all ask why the black community have so much mental illness. Maybe it's because you trust the fucking medical industry. You dumbasses. Y'all still trust the medical industry.
Policies are all designed to milk Medicare and Medicaid because there's no laws requiring pharmaceutical companies.
And I'm only coughing now because I feel like they're sending rays, beams through this goddamn phone right here, which it is proven that they can do shit like that. These are weapons. These phones, your fucking laptop, those damn towers they're erecting everywhere, those are fucking weapons they use. And they target people. They send direct energy beams to you. Like, to cause you to become like to choke you out and stuff like that. They do that. Okay? Yes, our government is evil. If you haven't woken up to that, if you haven't, man, a lot of y'all are still asleep in this so-called conscious community. And that's the truth. Y'all, and then y'all allow these posers to come up in this conscious community and be like, oh yes, I'm woke now. I's woke now because I got locks. I got some locks. I got some crystals. I's woke now. I's awoke and not proving anything like with the knowledge. Okay? But since they get their locks, they buy crystals. Oh, you're a goddess. You're a goddess. But you still pray to Jesus or Allah. You have no connection to God's source within your soul, but call yourself a goddess. You still let them inject you every 6 months with God knows what to protect, to get your immune system to start working, to activate your immune system. You got to get these shots. You got to get these shots. You got to get, y'all still eat bullshit. McDonald's and double cheeseburger is still a part of your daily diet. You're eating human meat, literally knowing something. Y'all don't know shit. You don't know shit. And want to talk to me. Fuck y'all. Just because I want to look like a model, like I should. I come on here, I chant. Just because I want to wear something different with my hair. Because I went 6-7 years wearing my afro nonstop in a turban, scarf, just that. People thought I was literally on crack out here. And I'm not even going to say where I'm at. But people thought I was literally on crack. Walking around with a musky-ass scarf and my afro. Okay, and yes, I would style my hair. Okay, I did my poof balls. I did the Spice Girl bun thing. I did natural hairstyles and stuff like that. Great, dandy. But I noticed there's other styles that fit my face, my frame better, and I want to experiment. Like I spent most of my young adult, I'm still a young adult, but, early 20s, just strictly on the spirituality tip, like no drinking alcohol and whatever. If I was on hard drugs, I would be missing a tooth by now. But motherfuckers want to make up lies about you and stuff like that. I was super skinny. Skinnier. Y'all think I'm skinny now. Like, I was literally, this is why people thought I was on crack. But, yeah. When I actually met some actual heroin addicts and crackheads, you would be surprised. There's a lot of crackheads that have weight on them. Like, down here in the South, where I'm at, man, it's crazy. You would assume that these crackheads would be super skinny, but they're not. There's a lot of crackheads that have weight on them. Heroin addicts that have weight on them. Fat-ass heroin addicts I've met. Thing is, their skin is fucked up. They're missing teeth, which I had none of those qualities. Actually, during my spiritual journey early on, coming into this, I had a lot of health issues, but people could see during my journey, a lot of things were clearing up and my skin was, I was glowing. And during my 3rd or 4th year of being a vegetarian, I started really glowing, but motherfuckers wanted to make up lies about me because, she's a conspiracy person. She gotta be on drugs. No, I don't do drugs here. No, I just don't believe, I don't believe what people, I don't believe things at face, given to me, I don't believe what people tell me or take everything for face value. I, look deeper into, the things that I'm being told. Once you know, I don't know how to explain it, but, once you've been played, motherfuckers can't play you again. At least for me, when I discovered that Christianity was created to, literally and mentally enslave me, and that we were worshiping Saturn, when I discovered that we were tricked to worship Saturn, that made me just not trust anything anymore. Okay? I don't trust them. I don't trust shit. So I look deeper. I don't just believe what I'm told. Okay? Dude. Hold on. Let me go back. So, yeah, we're going back to this video that shows the origins of religion, how it's all connected to the zodiac, how there were multiple Christ beings that were worshipped long before Jesus with the same story, born of a virgin on December 25th. 3 wise men or whatever came to celebrate this or whatever the crap. There were multiple stories of these Christ beings or whatever, which, Horus. I'm going to go back. So we're going to play this. We're going to start back at, what is it? The timestamp at, 5 minutes and 57 seconds, where it's explaining Horus, story and other Krishna and all that. Okay? Now, I said I was exposing Islam. We already did that in the beginning of this live stream. I'm exposing all religions, honestly, all of these Abrahamic religions, because they all come from the same source. Okay? Which I'm going to play that same video that I played earlier in the beginning of this video. I'm going to play that again later on. I'm going to go live again, exposing Islam for being racist. Anybody, like, if you actually read the Quran, it actually says black people are not allowed in heaven. Only people who have white faces will be allowed in heaven. So it's crazy how they're able to convert black Americans to this. But you have to be like obsessed with whiteness to be a part of Islam or NOI. You have to be obsessed with whiteness and straight hair. And that has been exposed. Like, that has been exposed that the NOI has an obsession with light skin. White skin. And all the men in that group, they're obsessed with whiteness. That's why I call them Agent Smiths. That's what the fuck they are. They're black Agent Smiths. If you can't tell, then you're not unplugged, okay? I see right through them. I see right through their so-called essence. I see through them. I see in their eyes. I see no soul. I see a darkness. I see black. I see a black hole in their eyes, okay? Nothing there. All of them. They're all They're all inverts. Okay? Go look at Honorable Elijah Muhammad. Go look at Elijah Muhammad's wife and tell me, do that look like a woman to you? I'll do that later. I'm gonna pull up Elijah Muhammad and its wife. Okay? That motherfucker look like a man. Okay? They are all inverts. All inverts. Everybody a part of that group, that whole movement, they're all clones. They're all inverted. And that's my explanation, because even if you actually do research on the story of how NOI was created, this actually stemmed from the Moorish science temples and what's his name? What was that guy's? But yeah, that movement was taken over by Farah Muhammad, okay, after the guy was killed off. The Moorish temple thing, it was a short-lived, like, little organization because they killed off the leader in the 1800s. It was a mystery of how he died. I believe he was murdered. And then Farah Muhammad took over. It was he was an Arabic guy. Took over this movement for black people, okay? Got them worshiping whiteness. White skin and straight hair, okay? That's what it's all about. In Islam, you have to be obsessed with whiteness to be a part of that, okay? Broke that down in the beginning of this live stream. If you're just popping in, I will circle back to that after this, but this is breaking down Christianity and all that and its origins. So bear with me. This video is 29 minutes long. We're already like 5 minutes in, so it's 24 minutes of this, and then we're going to circle back to Islam and how it's just stupid for black Americans to be a part of that, to convert to that. You gotta be man, as a black woman, if you were raised as a Christian and you converted to Islam, you gotta be retarded. I'm sorry. You just gotta be retarded. No man can convince me to convert to Islam. I don't care how big his dick is. Y'all can just stop wasting your time in my inbox if you think you're gonna convert me to Islam. Just get the fuck out of my inbox. Stay the fuck out of my inbox. Please. Because I freed myself from mental slavery. I'm not going back. Okay? I freed myself from mental, physical, and spiritual slavery. You're not getting this one. You're not getting this one. You can go try that with that project bitch that worship Jesus, but not me. You can go do that with them New Agers them crystal collectors, but not me. I'm sorry. I'm beyond that. I'm way beyond that. I actually, yeah, no. Sorry.
His birth was accompanied by a star in the east, and upon his birth he was adored by 3 kings. At the age of 12, he was a prodigal child teacher, and at the age of 30, he was baptized by a figure known as Anup, and thus began his ministry. Horus had 12 disciples he traveled about with, performing miracles such as healing the sick and walking on water. Horus was known by many gestural names such as the Truth, the Light, God's Anointed Son, the Good Shepherd, the Lamb of God, and many others. After being betrayed by Typhon, Horus was crucified, buried for 3 days, and thus resurrected. These attributes of Horus, whether original or not, seem to permeate many cultures of the world, for many other gods are found to have the same general mythological structure. Attis of Phrygia, born of the Virgin Nana on December 25th, crucified, placed in a tomb, and after 3 days was resurrected. Krishna of India, born of the Virgin Devaki, with a star in the east signaling his coming. He performed miracles with his disciples, and, upon his death, was resurrected. Dionysius of Greece, born of a virgin on December 25th, was a traveling teacher who performed miracles such as turning water into wine. He was referred to as the King of Kings, God's only begotten Son, the Alpha and Omega, and many others. And, upon his death, he was resurrected. Mithra of Persia, born of a virgin on December 25th, he had 12 disciples and performed miracles, and upon his death was buried for 3 days and thus resurrected. He was also referred to as the Truth, the Light, and many others. Interestingly, the sacred day of worship of Mithra was Sunday. The fact of the matter is, there are numerous saviors from different periods from all over the world which subscribe to these general characteristics. The question remains, why these attributes? Why the virgin birth on December 25th? Why dead for 3 days in the inevitable resurrection? Why 12 disciples or followers? To find out, let's examine the most recent of the solar messiahs. Jesus Christ was born of the Virgin Mary on December 25th in Bethlehem. His birth was announced by a star in the east, which 3 kings or magi followed to locate and adorn the new Savior. He was a child teacher at 12, and at the age of 30 he was baptized by John the Baptist, and thus began his ministry. Jesus had 12 disciples, which he traveled about with, performing miracles such as healing the sick, walking on water, raising the dead. He was also known as the King of Kings, the Son of God, the Light of the World, the Alpha and Omega, the Lamb of God, and many, many others. After being betrayed by his disciple Judas and sold for 30 pieces of silver, he was crucified, placed in a tomb, and after 3 days was resurrected and ascended into heaven. First of all, the birth sequence is completely astrological. The star in the east is Sirius, the brightest star in the night sky, which, on December 24th, aligns with the 3 brightest stars in Orion's belt. These 3 bright stars in Orion's belt are called today what they were called in ancient times, the 3 kings. And the 3 kings and the brightest star, Sirius, all point to the place of the sunrise on December 25th. This is why the 3 kings follow the star in the east, in order to locate the sunrise, the birth of the sun. The Virgin Mary is the constellation Virgo, also known as Virgo the Virgin. Virgo in Latin means virgin. Virgo is also referred to as the house of bread, and the representation of Virgo is a virgin holding a sheaf of wheat. This house of bread and its symbol of wheat represents August and September, the time of harvest. In turn, Bethlehem, in fact, literally translates to house of bread. Bethlehem is thus a reference to the constellation Virgo, a place in the sky, not on Earth. There is another very interesting phenomenon that occurs around December 25th, or the winter solstice. From the summer solstice to the winter solstice, the days become shorter and colder. And from the perspective of the northern hemisphere, the sun appears to move south and get smaller and more scarce. The shortening of the days and the expiration of the crops when approaching the winter solstice symbolize the process of death to the ancients. It was the death of the sun. And by December 22nd, the sun's demise was fully realized. for the sun, having moved south continually for 6 months, makes it to its lowest point in the sky. Here a curious thing occurs. The sun stops moving south, at least perceivably, for 3 days. And during this 3-day pause, the sun resides in the vicinity of the Southern Cross, or Crux, constellation. And after this time, on December 25th, the sun moves 1 degree, this time north, foreshadowing longer days, warmth, and spring. And thus it was said, the sun died on the cross, was dead for 3 days, only to be resurrected or born again. This is why Jesus and numerous other sun gods share the crucifixion, 3-day death, and resurrection concept. It is the sun's transition period before it shifts its direction back into the northern hemisphere, bringing spring and thus salvation. However, they do not celebrate the resurrection of the sun until the spring equinox, or Easter. This is because at the spring equinox, the sun officially overpowers the evil darkness, as daytime thereafter becomes longer in duration than the night, and the revitalizing conditions of spring emerge. Now, probably the most obvious of all the astrological symbolism around Jesus regards the 12 disciples. They are simply the 12 constellations of the zodiac, which Jesus, being the sun, travels about with. In fact, the number 12 is replete throughout the Bible. Coming back to the cross of the zodiac, the figurative life of the sun, this was not just an artistic expression or tool to track the sun's movement. It was also a pagan spiritual symbol, the shorthand of which looked like this. This is not a symbol of Christianity. It is a pagan adaptation of the cross of the zodiac.
So I hope now y'all know where, y'all understand where